So I feel it only appropriate to actually talk a little bit about the Geylang neighborhood, since it's kind of colorful. It was established in the 1840s and was originally an area of coconut plantations and lemongrass farms. But with the population boom around the turn of the 20th century, it quickly became a residential area through rapid redevelopment, spurred on even further following World War I. As a result of all the people coming to live and work in the area, Geylang became something of an entertainment district as well, and as a result of that, it also gained a reputation as a red light district. In recent years, because of the preservation of the original shop houses as historically protected architecture, it's also becoming known for the growth of Singapore's restaurant culture. You know, a lot of older structures are kind of hip to move into and open up these sort of bohemian fusion restaurants. So it kind of depends on what kind of evening you're looking for as to where in Geylang you want to go. Clubs and restaurants abound north of Geylang Rd, which runs roughly east-west through the district, while the side streets, or lorongs, south of Geylang Rd are a mixture of residences, hotels, and mostly legal brothels. I say mostly legal because while prostitution isn't expressly illegal in Singapore, a lot of the activities around it are, like loitering, solicitation, and actual running of a brothel is illegal. So prostitution exists in a legally murky area where it's frowned upon by the generally polite Singaporean society, but tolerated. In certain pockets of the city, like Geylang and a few scattered streets around town, there are technically legal brothels, which are registered with the government and operate under certain reasonable rules, like mandatory and frequent testing of the employees and premises, which are subject to health department inspection, and all in the name of limiting the spread of STIs. Other establishments, like hostess bars, massage parlors, they also exist under constant threat of government raids. I understand that now the now somewhat infamous Orchard Towers along Orchard Road has had crackdowns in the past couple of years, and most of the nightclubs, so like hostess bars, and other businesses that were well known for prostitution activity there have since had their leases expire and not renewed. Though the reason for refusing to renew their leases was purportedly more because of the alcohol-related violence in and around the building than because of any prostitution-related activities. They kind of went together. Since Geylang is my base of operations for this trip, I thought I'd explore it a little bit because there are some places I've marked on my map that I really do need to see for myself. The 24-hour dim sum restaurant was certainly a good start, the one I visited when I first arrived. Very promising start to my stay. So let's just see what other trouble I can get into.
In the Geylang neighborhood, you will see guys like this set up little tables along the sidewalk selling stuff. And you want to walk by these guys. Just keep on walking. They're selling herbal supplements, mostly, purportedly, to help increase your manhood and your stamina, etc. At best, they don't work. And at worst, they could adversely affect your health in multiple ways. So, these aren't exactly like FDA approved or inspected or verified by anyone. They could have, well, anything in them. So just keep walking. I really love some of the names for the businesses around here. I think, what do you sell here? It's food, yo! Behold, Durian Boy, well-known sidekick to that more famous fruit-based superhero Mangosteen Man. Now, this being an entertainment district, there are all sorts of shops here, and it being a red light district, there are lots of sex shops in the Geylang neighborhood. But this is the first time I've actually seen 24-hour self-service sex toy vending machines. This is a first for me.
So, just wandering the neighborhood, little snack before dinner. It's really warm, that's why I'm sweating like crazy. So yeah, need something a little cool when I'm walking around. And you're in Southeast Asia, you kind of have to have the bubble tea. This is something that I'm still kind of developing a taste for. The first time I almost choked to death because these little tapioca balls just shot straight down my windpipe, and yeah, it was not a pleasant sensation. Now I know to kind of go a little slower, straight into my teeth, do what you gotta do. Now this is lychee or lychee flavored milk boba tea. So still getting used to that sensation. Sweet, cold, refreshing, a nice bit of creaminess from the milk. I could take or leave the boba personally, but they do have an interesting, what is that? Once I kind of let the lychee flavor dissipate. It's almost chocolatey, which is a little weird, but at the same time, it's good. It's subtle enough that it doesn't really interfere with any. Is it chocolate? Is it coffee? I'm not sure, but it's tasty. Now the other thing that I picked up as a snack, it's kind of a challenge to myself. It's a prawn fritter. I like me some prawns. I like fritters. I like fried things. I've been training for this. Getting really, really crispy fried shrimp and eating them head, tail, and all. Because this is how a lot of the world eats shrimp. I have noisy neighbors. This is how a lot of the world eats shrimp. Not necessarily in a fritter, but, you know, shell on, and they just eat it that way. It's still taking me a bit to get used to that paradigm shift. The shrimp is crisp. The exterior of the fritter has texture, but it's not particularly crispy. These may have been sitting under a heat lamp for a while. And the inside of the fritter is actually quite soft, almost, dare I say, pillowy. I just bit the head off of the shrimp. See if I can get to a little bit more actual shrimp here. Now, with the rest of the fritter to kind of work on, the fact that I'm also chewing on the shrimp shell is not quite so glaringly strange to me as if I was just eating the shrimp by itself, shell and all. It helps. You can tell this is shared time in the fryer oil with a lot of other things. There's that flavor that you get as you know, moisture and various acids from the foods break down some of the oils, and actually you get saponification. You actually get molecules of a kind of soap that forms in the oil, and that helps, to a certain extent, helps promote browning and crisping of your fried goods. So it's a good thing. But as you go on, those toastier, soapier flavors start to build, and your fryer oil starts to get kind of funky. This is getting there. I don't know if she changes it was a lady who was running the stall. I don't know how often she changes out her oil, if this is a daily thing and it's just because I'm coming in later in the afternoon that maybe it just gets this way, or maybe it's been several days, who knows. You usually can't go much longer than that before it just starts to taste burnt. But this definitely tastes like it's been around, and I don't mean rancid. There's a very, very different flavor for rancid oils. So this is a tasty snack. Some of the things that you can find around the Geylang neighborhood. There were a few things I went looking for, didn't find, and that's sort of testament to the rate of change that's going on around here. There's still a lot of development, and a lot of times you don't move fast enough, you get run over. That is super sweet after this. But then there are things that apparently have been around for decades, for as long as the country has. So you never know in the restaurant game. Let's see what else is out there. You never know when you're going to find inspiration for a new episode of Recipe Redemption, because damn. Nearing the end of a very long day. Got myself a beer and a little bite of something for dinner. It's a little something special. We have the frog bee hoon. Got a bit of omelet in there, green onions, some vermicelli noodles, and this broth. Yes, spoon. I'm intrigued by this broth. Let's get into that first. It's brothy. Very eggy. Now to get in on this frog. Garlicky. It's actually not as fishy as I'm used to with frog. So this really does kind of taste like chicken. Even though you can see it clearly isn't. Vermicelli noodles give it a nice little texture. Green onions give it that bit of freshness. This is a great dish. Sitting by the side of the road, drinking a beer. Doesn't get much better than this. My other order arrived, something I've been wanting to try. An oyster omelet. Just because. Nice big bite, big oyster there. That is extremely hot. Okay. A pronounced oyster flavor. Fairly crisp as far as omelets go. I don't know if it's my favorite thing, but I had to try it. It's not bad, but I'm going to leave room for more frog.